Hello everybody, today we're going to read a Caillou story from his storybook treasury. Let's have a look and see which book we're going to read today. I think we'll read The Picnic. The Picnic. Caillou and his friend Leo were playing in the back seat of the car. Outside the sky was cloudy and the wind twisted the branches of the trees into strange shapes. The two boys were excited because they were on their way to the woods for a picnic. But it was taking so long to get there. "We're almost there, kids," Mummy finally said. "Look, there's the parking lot." As soon as Daddy parked the car, Caillou and Leo jumped out and put on their backpacks. Oh, look. They looked up and saw the clouds racing across the sky. They spotted the picnic tables far in the distance. Mummy helped Caillou's baby sister, Rosie, out of the car while Daddy got the picnic things out of the trunk. Where were the picnic tables? Ah, there. Like explorers, the group headed into the woods. They walked single file along a winding path. The tall trees were filled with birds calling out to each other. Caillou and Leo were wide-eyed with excitement as they led the way. The fresh air smelt so good. All of a sudden, they stopped. It was so quiet. They felt like they were all alone in the forest. "It's like the forest in your storybook, about brave knights and dragons," Mummy said to Caillou. "Yes, it is," Caillou answered. Caillou and Leo smiled at each other, ready to find adventure. The two boys gobbled down their lunch. They couldn't wait to go exploring. Caillou and Leo were soon climbing to the top of a little hill. "Don't go too far, boys," said Daddy. "Look at me," shouted Leo. "I'm a brave knight. This is my sword." Caillou picked up his own stick and lifted it over his head. "I have a sword too," he yelled proudly. "This is a big, bad dragon," said Leo, hitting the tree trunk with his branch. "Yay, we're fighting the bad dragon," Caillou called back, swinging his stick. Just then, the boys heard Mummy and Daddy calling. "Caillou, Leo, come back now. We're leaving." The two friends ran back to the picnic table. All the picnic things were packed and ready to go. Caillou felt a drop of rain on his nose. Suddenly there was a crash of thunder. "A dragon!" shouted Caillou. "Let's get it," said Leo. Caillou and Leo ran ahead of the group, waving their swords. It was raining harder and harder. As the thunder dragon's roars got louder, Rosie started to cry. They found a little cave where they could all huddle inside, taking shelter from the storm. But Rosie was still afraid and couldn't stop crying. Oh, poor Rosie. "Look, Rosie," Caillou told his sister. "I'm a brave knight. Here's my sword." "Me too," Leo added quickly. "We'll fight the dragon." "Yeah," Caillou pointed his sword at the big black clouds in the sky. "We'll protect you," he said. All of a sudden the rain stopped and the sun peeked out from behind the clouds. Rosie smiled. Caillou and Leo were proud of themselves. "Hey, my brave knights," Daddy said with a smile. "Are you sure there are no more dragons around?" Leo and Caillou laughed and waved their wooden swords. "Don't worry, Daddy, we'll scare them away." Very happy. And that's the end of the story. Thanks so much for listening to the story today. We hope you enjoyed it. So you don't miss any more fantastic stories, please subscribe to our channel and we'll see you next time. Hello everybody, today we're going to read a Caillou story from his storybook treasury. Let's see what story we'll read today. I think we'll read The Phone Call. The Phone Call. "Mummy, Mummy," Caillou said, tugging at her arm. But Mummy didn't answer. She was busy talking on the phone. She turned to Caillou and said, "Caillou, I have work to do. Please give me a minute to get off the phone." Caillou was sad. He had something important to tell her. Mummy hung up the phone and said, "I'm sorry, Caillou. Now what did you want to tell me?" Caillou exclaimed, "It's Rosie. She tore up a book." The phone rang again and Mummy put up her hand. Caillou knew that meant he had to wait. Caillou went to his room. "I know, I'll draw Mummy a picture. She loves it when I draw for her," Caillou said. When Caillou finished his picture, he was so excited he ran to the kitchen to take it to Mummy. I wonder what he's drawn. "Look what I drew for you, Mummy," Caillou exclaimed. Mummy was still on the phone. When she hung up, she said, "Let me see," but the phone rang again. "I'm sorry, Caillou," Mummy said. "I know you've been waiting all morning. I'll be finished after this call." Caillou felt really bad. He felt like Mummy didn't care about him. He turned and walked away. Ooh. Caillou went to his room and looked around. "I'll call Mummy on my phone," he said. Look at that. Just as he finished punching the numbers, the real phone rang. "Wow," Caillou said, surprised. Caillou ran to the kitchen. "Mummy, that was me," he said, watching her hang up the phone. Mummy smiled and began to say, "No, Caillou, when the phone rang again. "Caillou, why don't you answer that for me?" Mummy said. Caillou loved to answer the phone. It made him feel grown up. "Hello," he said. "Grandma!" "OK, Mummy, Grandma wants us to come over. Can we?" he asked. "Sure," Mummy answered. "Tell Grandma we'll be there soon." "Caillou, do you remember this puppy?" Grandma asked as they walked in. "Yes," Caillou answered, bending down to pet him. "Oh, look." "You can play with him. He would like that," Grandma said. Caillou and Rosie petted the puppy. He rolled over on his back and his paws in the air. Suddenly the phone rang and the puppy jumped up barking. He ran over to Grandma and started tugging at her skirt. Caillou and Rosie were amazed. Grandma hung up the phone and the puppy let go of her skirt. Caillou and Rosie started to laugh. "Do you believe it?" Grandma said. "He does that every time I'm on the phone." "Why?" Caillou asked. "Maybe he thinks I'm going to forget about him," Grandma answered. "Sounds like someone I know," Mummy said, smiling at Caillou. Thanks so much for listening to the story today. We hope you enjoyed it. So you don't miss any more fantastic stories, please subscribe to our channel and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Hello everybody. Today we're going to read a story from the Caillou Storybook Treasury. Today we're going to read Where's Gilbert? Where's Gilbert? I think that might be Gilbert. Caillou was playing with Gilbert. His dinosaur was tied to a long string. Gilbert was ready to pounce, tail twitching. "Ready, Gilbert?" Caillou asked, and then tugged hard on the string. The dinosaur went flying through the air. Gilbert jumped up and pounced on the dinosaur, catching it proudly. "Yay, Gilbert!" cried Caillou. "You saved me from the dinosaur." Caillou continued to pull the string around the room. "Oh no, he's still chasing me. Get him, Gilbert, get him." Gilbert chased them and finally pounced on the dinosaur again. "You got him this time, Gilbert," Caillou exclaimed. "Snack time, Caillou," Daddy called from the kitchen. "You stay here, Gilbert," Caillou said, pointing his finger at Gilbert. Caillou went off to have his snack. Afterwards, Caillou called out, "Come on, Gilbert, let's play now." Caillou looked around the room and under the cushions. "Gilbert, where are you?" Caillou was upset. He had told Gilbert to stay and wait for him. "Daddy, Gilbert's gone," Caillou said. "I need him for my dinosaur game." "Well, Gilbert's not here in the kitchen," Daddy replied. Caillou went hunting for Gilbert. He checked in the basement and found his mummy. "Hi, Caillou, what's going on?" Mummy asked. "I can't find Gilbert. He was supposed to wait for me," Caillou answered. "He's probably hiding in one of the bedrooms. Let's play detective and look for him." Mummy and Caillou headed upstairs. "A good detective needs to look for clues," Mummy said. "What are clues?" Caillou asked. "A clue is anything that will help us find Gilbert, so keep your eyes wide open," Mummy replied. Caillou saw a piece of string on the floor in the hall. It was the string from his dinosaur game. "Is this a clue, Mummy?" "That's a very good clue," Mummy said. The string was between two bedrooms. So Caillou picked one and went in to look for Gilbert. In his parents' room, Caillou looked under the bed, then under the chair and all around the room. "He's not here, Mummy," Caillou said. "That leaves your room, Caillou," Mummy said. "My room!" Caillou cried. Looking around his room, Caillou did not see Gilbert. "Gilbert, come here," he said. Caillou looked under the bed and found his dinosaur. "Another clue, Mummy," he said triumphantly. "You are a good detective, Caillou," Mummy said. Caillou squeezed the dinosaur and it made a squeaky roar. Mummy and Caillou heard a quiet meow. Caillou pulled back the covers on his bed. "Gilbert, I found him," he cried, pulling the sleepy cat into his arms. That's the end of the story. Thanks so much for listening to the story today. We hope you enjoyed it. So you don't miss any more fantastic stories, please subscribe to our channel and we'll see you next time.